What's up, guys? It's Brian from HashRahub. It's about 8:55 a.m. January 26, 2018. We're coming to you with a brand new Bitcoin trading video. But first, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, upvote, re-steam if you guys are on DTube and or Steam it. If not, you should be embarrassed. I'm totally joking. You should get on it because if you're in the crypto world, you got to get on those platforms. Okay, those platforms are kind of the future of YouTube, of Facebook, and things of that sort. So get on them. Links are down below. If you're not on our Facebook trading team, you definitely should be embarrassed, and you should go there right now and sign up. It's free. It doesn't cost you a dime, and you get lots of information from all sorts of traders, and that's coming along swimmingly. So let's get right into it. Overnight, we had a sell-off. We're looking at a 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart is on, obviously, Bitcoin. And let's look at a 1-hour chart. 1-hour chart. 1-hour chart. 1-hour chart. There we go. 1-hour chart. Okay. The market came up. It busted through this blue line. And then it said, oh, wait a second. Way too much volume was soaked up by getting through this blue line. And then the market fell off precipitously from there. You could see that after the market tested it for these two candles, it busted through it on not huge volume, but bigger volume, and then even on small volume, it just came right through. It just petered right out. Okay, nothing against peters, but it just completely just fell right off on very low volume. So that just tells me that there are a lot of sellers out there. Okay, there were no buyers here, none, and then this volume right here is pretty big. Okay, I'm just gonna scroll out real quick and just give you an idea. It's not down here, the volume. I wouldn't say this is big. I wouldn't say this is big. I wouldn't say this is big. This is kind of on the bigger scale. Yeah, okay, there are bigger ones, no question, but it's on the bigger scale. What is that telling me? That tells me that there still are a lot of sellers. I know. Boo, hiss. People don't like to hear that. Okay. That means that the correction is going to continue. So, and I'm going to get to that in a second here. But the other thing here is that the market sold off. And where did it sell off to? Okay, it sold off to basically this blue line. Okay, and we drew this blue line a long time ago. And some people will say, oh, it didn't touch the blue line. Well, yeah, okay, I don't have a crystal ball, and nobody else does either. So, but if you were to trade this blue line, let's say you wanted it to hit the blue line, and then you wanted to bounce off from there, and you wanted to buy there, you're not going to buy on the blue line. Okay, you're going to put in a ladder, something like this. Okay, something along. This is how I would ladder it. This is something like this. I would ladder it. I would have gotten in here, here, not here. Okay, I would have gotten here and here. So these are 5. So let's say I broke out my position in 20% each time. I would have gotten 40% of my position right now. Okay, my average price would have been right about here. Call it about 10,355. Okay, the market came up to 10,776. Okay, not a bad trade. Now it's coming back down again. Okay, I'm not trying to say I would have bought here, but this if I came to a conclusion of this is where I want to buy, this is how I would have gone about doing it. And it's actually not a bad place to buy, especially for on a much longer, term basis. So let's just delete these here real quick. Let's not make things any messier than they already are. Okay, another trend line that we're looking at right now is coming from the bottom here, touching here, and ooh, it touched right here too. So, what's going to possibly happen? The market is going to either adhere to this line or this line, and only time will tell. So, this is like too minimal to trade, okay? Unless you're like a real day trader, as kind of like I used to do a lot of. On a 15-minute basis, yeah, okay, maybe you can go ahead and start doing this, even on a 5-minute basis. I would trade on a 3 and a 9-minute basis, okay? 3-minute as far as signal, and 9-minute as far as telling me what's going on with the trend, okay? Another thing I want to mention is that everybody has been kind of like up in arms with, not up in arms, but I've gotten a fair amount of comments of, oh, I'm shocked you haven't mentioned that the CME Futures contracts are expiring today on the 26th. Yeah, who gives a rat's, what? Who cares? I don't care. I've traded all sorts of markets, okay? You name it, I probably have traded it. And the only markets that really care about that are the physical markets. So if you're trading physical corn or physical wheat, okay, or soybeans, or anything physical like oil or nat gas, okay, I've traded all of those. Then yes, there tends to be much more of a market manipulation in the market. Okay, not to say that there's no manipulation going on in Bitcoin. That's not the case. But what I am saying is that the futures expiration is not doing this. I'm sorry, it's not doing this. And it's really not going to do very much else. I'd be rather surprised. What's doing all of this are the chart patterns. That's what's doing all of this. Not the futures expiration. Okay? I know people like to write headlines about futures expiration and this, that, and the other thing. They don't know what they're talking about. Unfollow them. Okay? The only thing you need to know are the chart patterns. And I know it's like, sounds like heresy to a lot of people, but that's the case. Over time, as you start trading, you start looking at the markets and the charts, I promise you, you're going to start filtering out a lot of that news. Doesn't really mean very much at all. The chart patterns tell you everything. The market is all-knowing. Don't think for a second that somebody doesn't see something and is not expressing their view, their sentiment in the market. And if they are, then it's reflected in the charts. Okay. So the next thing I want to go over is time. Time. So we're here. Okay, genius statement. I get it. So we're right here. We're January 26th. Remember, we're in this small triangle. We're in this small triangle. We have a much bigger triangle that surrounds this whole thing. And then even much bigger patterns on top of that. So I want to zoom out for a second. When in doubt, zoom out. In my estimation, we're like halfway through this, a little bit more than halfway through. I would call it 60, 70% through this triangle. 70% top, I would probably say 60% through this triangle here. And actually through the correction, I believe. Even if this whole triangle ends right here, that it's truly this smaller triangle right here, and then we kind of move up, and then we have another correction, I believe, this thing could run out to here. Okay, what date is this? I don't even see where it is. Okay, it's here. Whatever this date is. Okay, this is probably March, the first week of March. So, first week of March, that's quite some time off from where we are right now. So I do believe we can get there, and you want to get there. You want to. The reason why you want to is for everything I mentioned before. You want to get people sick and tired of this market. You want to get the sellers out of here. You don't want to see things like what we just saw. Okay? We had a bearish flag, go back, we have videos on all this. We had another bearish flag, okay? You want to see this thing to come up here and start playing with these upper resistance lines. You don't want it the market getting so tired as it did right here. Okay, you want to get through here on low volume, and even up here on low volume too, and then maybe have like a huge volume buy spike, that people wake up and realize, oh, wait a second, I gotta buy this thing, okay, and a huge, spike up. So that's what's going on there. Where are we as far as resistance levels? People like numbers. I know a lot of people watch us on phones, and it's difficult to see exact price levels. I hear you. So assuming the market kind of goes sideways a little bit, what do we have here? We have this everlasting 11,150 resistance line, and then we also have these, this blue hash line that comes down. Assuming the market kind of goes sideways, and then we run into this blue hash line, let's call that about 11,000, maybe 11,100, 11,050, somewhere around that level. As far as resistance concerned, as far as support, depends on what's going on, where we go, how far sideways we go. Because remember, everything's kind of angled right here. We're looking at triangles, so I don't know. Let's call it 10,370. Let's also call it 10,190. Okay, assuming this kind of goes sideways and then kind of comes back down. If it comes back down in this fashion, I'm thinking it's going to happen somewhere around this range right here. So we're going to leave it there for right now. There are a few other chart patterns that are kind of showing their face, but I don't want to muddy up the chart just yet. I want to get this information out here as quickly as possible, because I think everybody's kind of fretting over this futures expiration day today, and that's really about it. So let us know if you guys have any questions. Upvote, resteam, all greatly appreciated. Same thing with subscribing to our channel. Get to our Facebook page and like it. Speak to you guys soon. Happy trading.